I would even tell my girlfriends, which was like, looking back, I'm like, this is psycho behavior. This is psychotic.
When was the first time you realized, beyond it just being a dream, you actually started to enjoy the comedic process?
I was working at the Improv, I think.
Like when you were at the door?
Yeah, I worked at the door from 20 to like 22.
Until somebody told you really shouldn't be doing this
That's
anymore.
right. Yeah, so it kind of all happened pretty fast for me. I was doing open mics and really taking stand-up seriously when I first moved up to Los Angeles from Orange County when I was 20. And I was getting up 5-6 nights a week, as many open mics as I could, and I was working the door at the Improv, and they told me to keep a change of clothes in the car because I was one of the best open micers. And they go, keep a change of clothes in case someone doesn't show up. And then like Sarah Silverman wouldn't show up or Zach Galifianakis wouldn't show up. And then like, go kill 5-10 minutes before the next comic shows up. And so it'd be me like, filling like these Comedy Stars spots. And it went pretty good. Like I did okay. And then I booked the Montreal Comedy Festival, which...
That was a game changer for you.
Huge. Yeah, that's like every major comedian that you know has done the Montreal Comedy Festival at one point. And they call them the new faces of comedy. And they pick like 20 people and they call them the new faces of comedy, and they would do that every year. And it was sort of like a rite of passage. And as soon as you got that, then the industry started to take you seriously. And I got that after like a year and a half of doing stand-up, which maybe was too quick, but...
Why, looking back, do you think it might have been too quick?
Well, I just think I just didn't have enough material. Like, it was, as soon as I booked that, people were like, okay, you ready to go on a headlining stand-up tour? And I'm like, I have like 25 minutes. I have like maybe 30. Like, I'm not ready to go headline nationwide. But I still kept I wasn't making any money really doing stand-up other than like a couple $100 to drive an hour outside of town and do some bar show. So I still had my job at the Improv, and then an executive, I think at NBC, came in and was like, wait, you're Adam Devine, the New Faces from Montreal? And I'm like, yes, here's your ticket. And he goes, you can't work here. And I'm like, why not? This is my job. This is like, this is how I get paid money. I don't get paid anything. And he essentially was like, the industry will view you as less than if they see you taking tickets. But just go get a job in the Valley working at Best Buy and continue to do stand-up. And so I quit my job then. And
so you said before, I used to work with some people who I thought, these are the funniest people I've ever met in my life. And now they're not even in the business because they weren't willing to do the 15 shows a week and stay out until 4 a.m. driving around the country doing shows and staying up late to finish that script. Elaborate on that a little bit. Yeah.
I was like, especially when I first started and I was working at the Improv, and you see the best and brightest. Like that's where the Comedy Store, that's where the funniest people in America, they come to. They develop there, and I really saw, by working there for a few years, people come in hot, but they don't put in the work, so they don't grow fast enough. And then they get stagnant, and then they don't take off. And I saw people taking off, and those were the people that
you were conscious of that, even at that age.
It was great for me because I was just the door guy. I was kind of in the cut. And so I was able to see everything unfold, and I wasn't really part of it until I got New Faces, and then suddenly everyone who I was just the door guy is now looking at me like, well, I didn't get New Faces. How did the door guy get New Faces? And then suddenly I was like kind of in the club a little bit.
To what extent will you still occasionally get a one-track mind when it comes to work where you're just hyper-focused? And you said before, at least back in the day when you would do that, it would almost be to the detriment of other aspects in your life.
Yeah, I think especially early on, it was like I didn't want any real relationships. And I would even tell my girlfriends, which was like, looking back, I'm like, this is psycho behavior. This is psychotic.
What would
I
you
would
say?
say my career is number one. I'm gonna miss a birthday. I'm gonna miss Valentine's Day. I'm gonna have shows. I'm gonna be on the road. I'll miss things, and it's not because I don't like you or I'm not into you, but that's my number one thing right now.
And you were how old then?
20 to 25.
I mean,
or maybe even longer, like through the beginning of Workaholics, I would say.
You think you could have done it another way and achieved the same success?
I don't know.
I
Maybe.
mean, you almost have to be singularly.
You have to be, yeah.
committed.
Especially in this business, it's just hard, man. It's like, it's hard to launch. And It's
Yep.
hard to get things to click. And when they do, you have to be willing to drop everything and be hyper focused on that one thing. And like everything else kind of is put on the back burner.